Texas Skidmark. Majestic, elegant, raw power, built by the baddest fuckers around. One might think it was born perfect or sculpted by the truck gods out of a solid block of fucking awesome. But what if I told you it started as an absolute piece of shit? That's right. So how did the Skidmark become the beast it is today? On this episode, we aim to answer that very question. Its story begins at Gas Monkey Garage. Take it away, Richard.
What's up, everybody? It's Richard here at Gas Monkey's Monkey Trap. You've been here before, but what you haven't seen is a big empty hole. And you know what? I want to fill that as soon as possible. So we're dragging one off the POS row. I've been saving it for a little bit of a while, and I want to have it built. And we're going to go all out on this build, all the way down to the frame, custom up with a new frame, new bodywork, new everything, you name it. And you're going to get to see it at SEMA, but you're going to get to see it here first because we're going to build it right now. Let me show you this. So a little history of General Motors trucks. We've got Chevrolet and we've got GMC. Now, they introduced the CK series in 1960 and ran that all the way to 1966 before they came out with this new body style in 1967. Now, everybody refers to that as a C10, and this new generation had just killer performance features. It had several choices of motors. It had a lot more advanced products than you were going to see from 1960 to 66. Now, y'all might remember back in January, I bought a handful of cars out of a little town west of Fort Worth, and among those was a 67 GMC Stepshod. Now, what I saw was a diamond in the rough, something that I thought we could make into a really cool truck. So the idea for this build was to have a stockish looking truck that is also badass. I'm talking big wheels, laying frame, you name it. And I want this to be something that everybody appreciates, knows, sees, but also feels like it's attainable. One of the main reasons I decided to go with the GMC over its cousin, the Chevy C10, is the dual horizontal headlights. I think that's just a little bit cooler and adds a little attitude. Now, before we tear this truck completely down, we're gonna need to get a hold of a couple of things. All new sheet metal, brand new chassis. Let's go ahead and do a new engine and drivetrain. And well, the sheet metal just got here, so let's take a look. What is up?
What's up, Richard? How are you?
Well, at least you guys called the right guys.
Yeah, we did.
All right, so what are we thinking?
We're getting rid of the step side now.
Either or, what do you want to do?
We got a badass fleet side bed for you.
What do y'all want to do?
Dude,
Fleet side.
listen to what he's got. That's what we were just discussing, and you'll want it too.
Tell me what's up.
We manufacture the OEM style, and then we have the 4-inch wider tub, which means it's literally 4-inch wider than factory, and the floor matches, so it bolts together at factory location. Now, we're adding 4 inches to the inside, so you can get a huge tire factor. I literally have 80% of this truck in that trailer for you right now.
So, all this truck is ours? You guys start ripping stuff out of there.
We're wanting to build something that is absolutely perfect.
Perfect.
We could spend all the time doing body work on the old panels and stuff, or we could start with a fresh, setup.
We saw what you guys did with the square body, the green and cream one back in the day. Richard expressed to Jason about doing something old school, and you guys wanted to get something that's, go back to the roots and something, and you guys referenced that square body. So when Jason called us, I was like, dude, absolutely. I mean, the Chevy trucks are huge. They've taken over the market, in my opinion. We go to all kinds of events, Good Guys, NSRA, and even NSRA. Man, you walk in, it's not all fiberglass running boards anymore. A third of the field is trucks. It's mind-blowing. Those guys that have been running that show, they're 80 years old, but they're getting a bunch of Chevy trucks at their events now. Like, the trucks have taken over.
We keep saying it because, the Chevy and GMC trucks are cousins, but this Grille,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm a
Chevy
dual
version.
headlight fan. So I have a 59 Chevy truck. That's dual headlight, 58, 59 only. Chevelle, favorite vehicle of all time, 70. Dual headlight, and then when it comes 67, 72, I love the GMC Grille. I love the dual headlight.
I love it.
We're excited, man.
So AMD came through with our sheet metal, and now it's time to go see what we're talking about chassis.
This is our new grounded chassis. And I say new, I should say new. We've already had a grounded chassis, but when Jay called me and said that they want something a little special, a little bit more tire clearance, a little bit more low, so we designed a new frame rail, which meant we had to change the fixture to accommodate the new frame rail, because everything we do is all in a fixture. So front cross members up a 1/2 inch, rear cross members up about 1.5 inches to go from a 29-inch tall overall diameter tire to a 32.
The idea really behind this, asking all of these special accommodations, are for this truck to sit completely on the ground without any daylight at all, even with as tall of tires we're going to put under there.
We're going to air this thing up and get this thing out of here.
They even brought us a chassis without a body or anything that lifts itself off the ground. They have this thing built to where we can power up. That's crazy. We have a full rig built and ready to go when they deliver it to you. Let's get this thing off of here, dude, so we can actually look at all the work that went into this.
We can actually put 1 3/8 spacers underneath the tires and it'll still lay out.
Oh, that's cool.
What is your height on these rollers that you have right now?
I think these are 29 and 30s, maybe 30 and a half.
And we still got how much more up travel?
So you've got 7 inches of rear wheel travel and almost 8 in the front.
Sick, man.
Tranny pan will literally be flat along with the bottom of the frame rail. The frame will hit ground before the trans pan will. So these frame rails start off as 4 pieces of 15 feet long steel.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't something that we mandrel bend into shape. It is a top piece, it is an inside, an outside, and they lay it into what we call our 3-sided fixture. So they lay it in one fixture, they inside and outside weld it, all clamped to a plate. Then they flip it over and put the other plate on there, fully weld that. All the edges have been seam welded, round back smooth to make it look like it's just one piece of steel.
That's awesome, man.
So we got a couple of our major items already, and the next thing to get is what's going to make this whole thing move. It's called a powertrain. What is it? It better be badass.
Okay, well, it better be badass because it's kind of one of a kind at this point.
What does that mean?
This is an L8T Chevrolet Performance crate motor, 6.6 liter Chevrolet crate motor.
It's over 400 horsepower the way it sits.
And nobody has one. We're the only ones that has one besides Scoggin Dickey's development team.
They have a video of a stock bottom end one of these, you know, with some headwork, twin turbos, pushing 2,100 horsepower. Stock bottom end. Love it. Yeah. So, however wild we want to get with it, it'll absolutely handle it.
What are we trying to accomplish horsepower when we're done?
I would say 6 is just probably a safe bet.
Okay.
Keeping it NA. I like the NA sound, and especially being in a truck. Next up, we got to stab in our engine into the new chassis. I would just 99.9% bet that everything's going to go flawless. These guys, everything they've built so far is gorgeous. So let's get it in here. So we got the engine transmission stabbed in the chassis. It fit phenomenal. It looks great, but we need one thing to top it off. A big old intake from our buddies at Holley. Let's see how it fits. If it didn't look mean enough already, that definitely tops it off.
Absolutely.
So it's about time to get this 68 C10 blown apart. Fenders, doors, cab, that's got to go because it's a step side and we're going short wide. Dragging the cab off to get media blasted so that we can do all the body work and the show quality paint. We've got 2 big piles inside, one that goes in the trash, one that's keep.
So Jason just got back with the cab, been blasted and sealed up. So what we're gonna do, take it up in the air, slide our chassis underneath it, set it down, kind of just see the fit. Hi, Mike! What's up? We knew we'd have to do a little bit of change to the firewall, but it looks like we're gonna have to do the tunnel too. With this chassis sitting all the way on the ground, obviously the engine and transmission have to be moved up. And as you can see, our transmission tunnel does not clear anymore. That's why we're test fitting.
Nice setup though. Jesus,
Yeah.
frame is rad. This engine's radder.
Yeah.
What is it? A
L8T.
what? L what?
L8T.
Okay, I only speak in horsepower.
It's a direct injected 425 horsepower, 6.6 liter engine.
Nice. Plenty to move this beast.
We're gonna cam it and put LT4 heads and beehive springs.
Okay. I'm a painter. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a good plan. Beehive springs.
What are we looking like, Mike?
We need to go back.
Okay.
Come down a little bit more. I mean, you can if you want. Okay. Yeah, that's good. No, a little bit more. Just come. Yeah, just a little bit more. Right. No, stop. Up a little bit. Because we're gonna hit the bolts now. Up a little bit. Too much. Come back down. Too much. When you hit the button, it just wants to go up too high. Right there. That looks, I mean,
Pretty close.
looks pretty close.
Alright.
No, we need to come forward.
Just scoot the part of that cab back a little bit.
It's still a lot.
You can do.
Okay, do that. Too much. There you go, right there.
Is there?
Okay, come down with it. Can't come down with it. You're already on top of the training.
It's cut.
I understand that it's cut. You're just gonna let it push the floor up
A little bit.
You just said it was super light, so I don't know how it's gonna do it. Oh, it didn't.
It did. It bulged it.
No, it didn't.
It made it bulgy.
No, it didn't. It didn't move.
It did.
It did not. It did not move.
It did.
You guys are like brothers or married.
I got two.
You know what's funny is we've never worked together before either.
You.
But this is some fired up garage shit right here.
You mother.
Hey man,
Way over here. Too far.
you gonna call Tom in here? See if Tom can bend this up.
Yeah. Add the
If
weight.
he's set in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, go. Like it's a Jeep thing. Fuck off.
The bag that's holding it somewhat up, but we're down. We'll still lay frame and body on the ground with the tire that far tucked up in our fender well. So this is going to be a very, very freaking sick build. I'm excited about it. We say we call it a day.
Yeah.
We have a cab on a chassis on the ground. Let's call it a day. Very much more we can do.
This truck is gonna be fucking sick, dude.
On this chassis, you know, they're wanting to set it up as a one-piece drive shaft. I think we're just wanting to take it a little bit further and clean it up to where we can have all the room we want for a console and audio. So we're gonna do a carrier bearing and a split drive shaft. We're gonna bring it to the back of the cab and come up. As you can tell right now, the drive shaft will be in the back of the cab without even lifting this. This rear end will go up another 7 inches from here. So we really are limited on space, and doing a split drive shaft gives us a lot more space underneath the cab. It's sturdy. It looks like it's part of this frame. We are still gonna have to trim the back of the cab, but it's still below the floor inside. So it still gives us that really neat, clean look in the floorboard. That's the goal with this truck. Everything's nice, clean, stock as possible. What got going on, man?
Checking out the cool part.
Yeah, let's start assembling the bed.
Yes.
Sweet.
So there's where the bed floor would normally mount to. There's the wheel housing.
Yeah, you can go ahead and just
all the way up.
Yeah,
No.
that's probably gonna be about here, and that's gonna be about here. We have to take and build the outer surrounding. So not the bed floor, not the tubs. You want the surrounding, we'll set it, match it with all the body lines, and then we'll pull a measurement up to where we want the bed floor to be, build standoffs, jacks or whatever, and then lower the floor down in there.
Okay.
Because if you already have the floor in there, the bed's just gonna sit on top of the shock mounts and float. So we really can't get the body lines right. We can build a bed.
There you go.
Oh yeah, you put some hip in there, didn't you? Damn.
These are AMD's wider wheel tubs. This measurement from here to here is 4 inches wider already. No splicing necessary.
It's time to set the bed and get all the body lines lined up. I mean, there's no weight in the rear, so the rear suspension's up a little bit. We know that, but that looks really mean. Look at the size of f***ing meat we're gonna be able to put in the back of here. Oh no, that was bad. Tires, tires, tires. Seeing how we're running a lot wider rear tire on the back of this truck than normal, where our tubs land compared to where they made our shock mounts doesn't jive. What we had to do was notch the back of these shock tabs to where our fenders will actually set around them. We are getting every single inch out of this truck as we can. What we need to do now, pull these tubs out, undo the tailgate, open the bed up, slide the bed floor in, close it all back up. All right.
Donkey dick.
Jay just yelled donkey dick.
What?
Now you see? You see the visions? Look at my shaft.
Okay, give me some. Push, come in.
Bro, I'm fucking dealing
Oh!
40 joints back here.
Oh no! We gotta cut the cab right here. I mean, we knew
okay.
we were gonna have to, but
Okay.
we hope we could at least.
Well, we thought it was 2 inches.
We were waiting to do this, so we didn't lose rigidity.
And we're back to clearance and things. Plenty of travel because we're a lot lower because this ain't even standing up yet. So, plenty of clearance.
Great, yeah.
I mean, that was really our only concern. Hey, 4, and look at the level. I love it. You have a measurement? All right. Then let's pull the fucking tranny so we can get it to Kenny and get it to the transmission shop. Love it. We've had a really cool idea. Richard mentioned in the beginning and we're trying to just run with it. We want to take the front grille and make it one piece. I'm talking about headlight buckets, everything, one piece, billet. So one giant chunk of aluminum in front of this truck, maybe integrate GMG in it, you know, sink the buckets into it, everything. So right now, Jay and Ricky are getting all the pieces out. We're gonna unbox them and get Richard out here to talk about it.
Is that what you want to talk about? Grill time?
Yeah.
Give me a grill.
I think that we need to figure out something trick to do here. You know, Cotton made that contact with you.
Well, Titans of CNC are about as badass as they get. Can we add these and then scan it and make it one piece?
This would have to be integrated in it also. I think to keep your whole thing going. If this was all one piece, dude, nobody's done that. Are you still picturing trim?
Yeah, but if we do this and build, we gotta do the trim and build.
I mean, do we test their limits of how good they are?
Oh, they're the best. It's about how nice they're gonna be to us. Has anybody ever done billet?
I never. Even on like Tri-5s where they go, you know, everybody always outdoes themselves on Tri-5s, and I don't know if I've ever seen a billet trim.
Tri-5s suck, by the way.
I knew that was coming.
I hate Tri-5s. Just absolutely hate.
I mean, I think that would just absolutely set it over the top.
What if we had them make us the letters? Put them on. We can smooth this panel, we can put in a piece, and have him make these and bill it, but GMG. Take this G and put it over there.
That would be so fucking sick.
I like it. We'll call them up and see what their time frame's gonna be and tell them what we're thinking. Because we got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that'll have to be integrated into one. And then we've got some type of decoration up there. And then GMC and trim. How much? There's trim like hockey stripe? Or is it just straight?
Just one smooth run from front to back, just goes over the fenders.
We need that GMG too. I like that.
So instead of integrate it in the grill, just
Nah,
get big
it's
bolts.
gotta be up there.
Yep. Just do some bolts up there.
All we can do is ask. They
Okay.
said come to us with something. Get on the phone and start begging. Get your knee pads.
We spent so much time making parts by hand, and then so much time trying to make it look like we didn't make them by hand. It's kind of ironic.
I hate you.
I mean, don't you know, like, I want everything to look like, you know, machine did it, like perfect. But yeah, we did it by hand, so it's a lot of fun, but it burns up a lot of time.
This is true. Good, best one.
I'm floored.
So after talking with Richard, we really sat down and thought about it, and it would look a lot cleaner, a lot better to set the bed on top of the mounts. We were going for the factory look, but I think we're gonna change just that little bit and make it just a nice, smooth seam up top. These wheel tubs are 14 inches wide, man, and with the raised bed floor, they don't fit. So what we're gonna do is take and actually trim the bedside lip and tuck them up under there to where it still meets the side of the bed. It still looks factory, but factory, the tubs are all the way up to the bottom of this. We keep our top rail looking good, top of the tub looks good, and it's perfectly filled to the side. We got both the tubs underneath the bed rails, and as you can see, we got about 2 inches of gap right here. So we need to close that up. And what's happened is the bed's flat here, but it profiles up top. So what we're gonna have to do is bring it in a couple of inches and come up and actually profile the top of this fender to where it meets the side of this bed. And it's gotta be spot on, or we'll have water and mud and all kinds of shit coming through onto our pretty painted fenders when it's finished. So lots of templates. All right, so Ricky got the template cut and drawn out, so it's time to get this thing cut and put in place. All right, so we got the bed back on, and we're just kind of going through making sure that this thing's straight before we make the actual bed mounts, because obviously it doesn't go to the frame anymore. So we're gonna be looking at probably a foot tall bed mount. We're just checking square, level, plumb, all that good stuff, and we're good. Richard likes the way we did the bed, so now it's time to hard mount it. Build some mounts, get it lifted up. Yeah, I've got one bed mount fabbed up. I think we both like it. Ricky cut out all the rest of them for the templates. Honestly, it's time to get started welding them up. You can start grinding.
Oh, my favorite part. Oh, grinding. Life's a grind. Just get to it.
Life's a garden, dig it? You make it work for you. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
All right, so we got all 8 of our bed mounts done. We're gonna throw the bed on this truck, set it on the ground, hang the rest of the sheet metal, just so we can, you know, finally get to see what this truck's gonna look like done. You know, it helps motivation in the build to actually see it complete and know where it's going. So I'm really excited to see what this thing looks like. All right, so our truck's officially off the ground. The airbags are actually held up now. Jay got us some fittings put together and she's on all fours. So we actually was able to roll it out from the lift and get to see it for once. But I think the goal is we're gonna lay it out on the ground and see what it's like with all the body panels on it. Jay's making love to the truck.
As Jay caresses the skid mark and rethinks his life choices, let us admire the progress the boys have already made. It still has a long way to go, but you can already see the start of the absolute legend it will one day become. Let us get back to the build as Josh tells us where it is.
So there it is. There it looks great. I mean, it's on the ground. Obviously we don't have our wheels, but that is frame touching. So all it'll be is the wheels will be tucked up a little bit more. I am super pumped to see what we look like with wheels on it, but right now we got a full truck, man. It's pretty sweet.
We decided we're gonna go with a smooth look on the firewall. So I remade these pieces here. It's gonna give us a nice firewall. And once we incorporate our top pieces, it's really gonna blend nicely. As you see there, we'll pull all this together. It's gonna be really nice.
Me and Ricky knocked out the firewall yesterday. We really just wanted to go with the smooth look. Richard didn't like the dimple dye look. Man, I say it turned out freaking great. So our guys from Titan CNC are here and it's time to get an idea of what we're gonna do, man. This is the factory grill. This is all 4 pieces of it. This piece is not there and then these 2 buckets aren't there. Those are the key ones that we're trying to integrate in.
These will be cake to integrate,
Okay.
no problem. We will have to cut it in the middle,
Okay.
because our machine bed isn't quite long enough to hold
Right.
this whole thing. So we'll probably cut it in the middle, and then we'll have a 3rd piece that'll kind of tie it together and make it look seamless and beautiful, and it'll look like it's one piece.
So outside of this, kind of want to show y'all what we're talking about, the GMC to GMG logos. Y'all want to come check them out real quick?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
It would be sick to have the big billet letters GMG. We want to do it here on the hood. We have a spot on the tailgate that says GMC on it too. They're actually embossed in the metal back here.
yeah.
This is kind of Richard's idea, shaving those off and then having the actual billet letters back here of GMG. Would I just scan that for y'all too?
Yeah,
or would
just
you
scan that way we know how big to make the pocket on the back side. and-
Dude, that 3D scanner's just changed the game for everybody, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, it has. Still requires work from people like us, but
Yeah.
you know, it
At least
at
we're
least
not-
gives us something that we can work with.
We'll get right on these scans and get them to y'all because I know that you need time to design too. But what do you say, maybe 2 weeks? We'll come up and does that give y'all enough time and we can come up visit y'all and see how it's going?
Yeah, that'd be great. Once we got the scans, we'll get right on it.
The guys over at Shining 3D has really hooked us up with a badass 3D scanner and laptop, the whole thing, just set us up. So what we're gonna do is get the scan of the grill. Anything that we do, we have to throw these little dot points, like it's kind of just a point of reference for the laser to see, to know what part you're scanning. So it'll know not to scan this box and only scan the grill. And the goal of it is to, at any point, that scanner can see 4 of the individual dots. So check it out, as it's going, you can see all the cross hatching of the laser and it's actually building the 3D scan as it's coming across it. It's pretty slick, man. By the time we get this 3D scan, we'll do the top and the bottom side of it. And then the program, you go in, you have to do a couple things, but it'll actually conjoin it to where you have a inside and outside. We'll save this, we'll send it over to the guys at Titans, and they'll be able to build this grill out of billet for us. It's crazy. So Mike Cool will be back Monday. We still don't have inner fenders finished. So the main goal right now is, what is it, Thursday? Today and tomorrow, get these fenders knocked out. We're gonna keep the smooth, clean look going through the fenders too. All these panels are just gonna be slicked down to where it's just a nice, smooth finish on the inside of the, the whole engine bay. This truck, that's what we're going for. That's the look we're going for. Very clean, very simple. Hopefully we just keep it rolling. All right, guys, so we got the inner fenders knocked out this weekend. Kenny got the AC done. Ricky is about to start building the engine. We got Mike Coy coming in. We got about a month and a half left on this truck.
You know, the truck's gonna be cool, it's gonna look good, but what's really cool is we're not just building a trailer queen. This thing is gonna have a whole lot of go. The L8T engine, somewhere, you know, in the 400 range stock, but what we're looking to be is above 600. So what's so famous about the LS-LT is these are still a in-block single cam pushrod motor. So what that means is this cam here has a lifter that rides on top of the cam lobe, and that lifter pushes a push rod which actuates the valve. It's a very simple engine design, has been proven. First thing we're doing is taking out the stock cam, and we're going to be putting in this Goggins-Dickey racing cam. What it's going to do is give us more lift and duration. It's going to allow the valves to stay open longer. When you're getting more fuel and air in and compressing it and getting more fuel and air out, you're going to make more power. Lift is actually going to be the point how high the top of the cam lobe is. That's how far it's going to open the valve. Duration is for how long this area here is going to determine how long the valve stays open. So with the bigger cam, we're gonna have bigger valve springs. We're also gonna do bigger push rods. So we'll be going to a manly push rod that's gonna be able to handle the combined force of a stiffer spring and a higher lift cam.
The Goggins-Dickey Race Shop sent us a set of their billet valve covers.
That looks really good. I know people paint the stock ones and such, but this is gonna be the way to go.
We reached out to LME, which is just down the street in Houston, and they were saying, we want to build you one of our custom intakes. Plus, we want to go ahead and throw it on our dyno, run it through the ringer, make sure you're good to go.
So before we send this motor down to Houston for the dyno, we want to get it in there. Jay had a great point. We need to get it in there, mock up everything that we can.
So we've test fit everything. There's literally a country mile between the front pulley and this giant radiator we got from the guys at Wizard Cooling, and this is more than capable of cooling what I perceive to be a 600 to 700 horsepower engine. Big engine fits perfectly. TCI did a great job of locating it in the chassis just about as far back as you could possibly get. All that's up to do now really is tear this whole thing apart and get this motor down to LME and get it dynoed.
As the boys keep grinding away back at the shop, Ricky takes a little road trip down to Houston to get the heart and soul of the Skidmark tuned up and ready to tear ass down the Vegas Strip.
Are we getting close to 600?
It'll hit 600. We just barely pulled in. It's already making good power.
We are finished up here at LME with the engine dyno. We're right where we want to be as far as horsepower and torque. Very impressive. We're really happy with it. We are going to have to continue our throttle body quest because the race throttle bodies are just going to be too much for a motor that we want to be driving. We want to have really good drivability, and we got to have that classic load. But the important thing is the intake that they built us is badass. Looks great, sounds great, engine makes great horsepower. Cannot wait to get this engine back to Gas Monkey Garage and get it in the truck.
So whoever they bought the truck from clearly was doing some work of their own, and when they put this rocker on, they put it on completely wrong. I believe it's forward a little bit, and then this whole B pillar here is pushed back, so these rockers are like 35 bucks. So we're gonna take this one off, get a new one, and then that'll allow us to be able to roll this B pillar back forward to where it'll fit the door, because it does not fit the door at all. So we do that, and that should move us in the right direction on getting it over to my favorite spot, the body. So now that we got the old rocker off, we're gonna put the door back on, and then see if we can get this B-pillar to move back forward. And then once we get that, put the new rocker back on, and hopefully we'll be good. Sometime in this truck's life, it's been hit and everything kind of got pushed back. The last guy that put the cab corner on and the rocker panel just, I mean, they replaced it, but they didn't straighten anything when they did it. So all this stuff is pushed back and we have a huge door gap. So what we're doing now is pulling this back forward, and we're gonna have to cut all this back open and roll that back forward so we can get a good door gap, and then we're gonna have to come back and weld all this up. It's pretty common. These trucks didn't have good gaps to begin with, so, but ours is gonna have really nice gaps.
Very nice gaps. Alright, so we got this cab corner pulled and welded up. So we're gonna leave the bottom until we get the rocker on, check it, but the top laid down pretty good. Our door gap, very close to what we want. We can definitely work with that a lot better. I mean, it was not way back here now, so. Go in a little bit to where I missed as I was welding, probably throw some silicon bronze TIG in there, grind it down smooth, and keep rolling, dude. Progress. So last night we got the rocker fitted up on the driver's side, got the door gap corrected. Once we get this rocker welded in, get that side welded up, door gap fixed, man, the cab is 90% done, so it's getting exciting.
So we got the rocker off, working on getting it cleaned up so that Wiener Boy over here can weld it up. But it's kind of the same thing as over there. The rocker was a little too high, the one that they put on, so we need to lower the rocker. We're gonna put the door on and make sure that the gaps fit, but I think this side is a lot better than the other side, so hopefully it won't be as extensive as that side, but we'll see. So we got the doors on and they fit great, finally. Doors, rockers, all that. So now we started to put the fender on, and we think we need to do a little bit more on the inside.
And I agree. Mike had a really cool idea about the design aspect of Firewall to fender.
All my ideas are cool.
And I think it'll flow a lot better. You know, they were built off the truck separately. And these type of things happen. You know, you start putting everything together and it just doesn't look like it actually goes together and flows. So Mike had a really good idea to come down, flow into this panel, block that off, and actually more or less bring them together smoothly.
I mean, I like the dragon tooth, but I don't know why we need a dragon tooth on this car. You know, I don't know if, is it a megalodon?
That's supposed
to, anyways, yeah, we got to do something about this. So I would radius that back into our thing, and yeah, fill this gap maybe. And then we got to do something about all this. I don't know what yet, but we got to do something, because all this is going to do is fill up with like dirt, grime, shit.
So other than making an inner fender,
hypodermic needles,
around here,
condoms. I know, in this area, that's what I'm like. Nobody wants to clean that out.
I mean, other than making an inner fender, I mean, try to come up with an idea, because that's all I can come up with.
Okay, so we need turn radius. We talked about that, I understand that. But if we could even bring this all the way up to the fender, now we can't weld to the fender.
Just bring it
because
flat.
that's a no-no. But yeah, I mean, if we brought something just to kind of deflect all the road grime and shit that's gonna just end up down here, because it ends up there and then down in there and
on the pocket.
Yeah, and then we have a rusty fender.
No, I get it. So what we're gonna do is take the Firewall, smooth it, roll it over into the fender to where they don't look like one piece, but they marry well. You know, there's gonna be a gap there. Obviously, you can't have two pieces touching, but it'll just flow a lot better underneath the hood. That's what we're going for, is just a nice smooth look that flows throughout the engine bay. And a little bit more modifications. Part of building the car, you know, definitely a custom car. So the goal was to keep this all smooth and stock and, you know, roll out to the fender, and I think we accomplished. Jesus, I think we accomplished it. We brought the Firewall over to meet the fender, extended the fender over to the outer fender, and then rolled the Firewall down out underneath. By the time Mike and Kenny do body work, it's gonna look like one piece. You know, you might have a small seam, but factory cars have small seams, so that's what we're shooting for, and I think we nailed it.
Are you a karaoke
I like Mr. Karaoke, bro.
Really?
Hell yeah.
What's your go-to song?
I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. Gonorrhea, or is it chlamydia? I can't remember.
It's that ring of fire.
You left me.
What do you mean? I said I'm not drunk enough.
You don't have to be drunk to sing karaoke.
I do, you know that. You know that firsthand.
Don't you hate it when a friend lets you down? Somebody you counted on your entire life and they back out and let you down?
Well, I really feel like you were gonna like show me how it's done, though.
I just don't karaoke. I don't have a voice for it. I mean, I got a face
Yeah.
for TV and shit, but the voice is just not.
Well, you're doing better than me. I got a face for radio and a voice for silent film.
Well, I know that, but you're willing to give it a shot, and it was pretty good.
So our transmission is out getting built. Right now we have this transmission case in here to mock up where the transmission is going to be. Because our truck is going to be slammed so low, we're having to use a 4x4 transmission pan or transmission tunnel. Which is kind of nice because it's just small modifications and we're going to be able to use it. But on the back here, the drive shaft has to come up higher than it should because we're slammed. So we had to cut out the bed floor, and now we're going to have to make our own cover for the rear part of the tunnel.
We got these pieces going go right there. This one go right there. A little bit of, it's gonna look nice.
What I'm working on now is we're making a filler panel. Both of our batteries are getting mounted underneath onto the frame right there. We figured it would be a good idea to run a couple leads so that in case we have a failure or something like that, we can jump the truck. We're also running a cutoff switch just in case, I don't know, in case it has a draw or something, which it shouldn't, but you never know. So we're gonna run a cutoff switch and we're running these, so we're building a box. It's gonna go in our panel and will be hidden so that it's there in case we need it.
So got done welding up the floor pan. This is actually going to get welded on here permanently. It's going to get the strength back in there that it needs so it doesn't buckle up or make movements and this and that. But this is also going to help us get our transmission tunnel to go on and removable to be able to access the transmission whenever we need to, like it was factory.
Josh went this morning and picked up our transmission, so I'm going to mate the transmission and the engine together. For mock-up, we're going to put it in the truck one more time, do a final mock-up with engine and transmission in.
Alright, so a big thing that we've been worried about is how tall this LME intake is. This is a monster. We had very, very, very limited clearance underneath this hood. So instead of cutting holes in the hood or anything like that, we got thin 2-inch throttle bodies. We barely clear, but now we're running a little bit more issue. It doesn't quite fit. So what we're gonna have to do is take and machine a little bit off of this arm and on here to where it'll fit the profile of LME's intake. The throttle bodies that we're using actually set down and have twin arms that cam off of each other, and when they cam down they actually go below the mating surface, and because this thing is milled out for a big footprint, it hits. So what we're gonna have to do is come in the side, machine out a little notch for the cam to drop into. Not too much, but still scary. We got our intake in, throttle body's on, everything's clearanced out. We got movement in all the arms. We're clear under the hood. It's time to move on to piping and plumbing and wiring, man. This engine's looking great, engine bay's looking great, so let's get it all plumbed in.
So now I'm done with lines, routing them. Made this little panel right here, this little kick panel for them, just to protect them from the wheel. Since it is open to the elements, there's just an extra protection for the AC lines and heater lines to not get cut. But then they also travel through this little channel, out through here. Very clean, very simple. It looks very nice in the engine bay. Once we have this fender on and the core support right next to the engine, everything plumbed in, it looks very nice, very detailed, and very minimal space, which is what we've been going with this truck. But it looks really good.
So Josh said that we had to do tilt floor or lift up floor in our truck so that we could show off our curry rear end. But what we're wanting to do is a lot shorter than your normal full lift up. I'm gonna go ahead and get our hole cut and figure out how I'm gonna make all this work. So this is actually our lift panel that's in the bed of our C10. Right now what we're doing is we're getting rid of all the factory bracing, and we're gonna box it in and then plate the bottom so that when we lift it up and we're displaying the rear end and all the stuff, that this piece actually looks good too. It doesn't look like it's just kind of cut open and then thrown in there.
We're nailing down the last little bit of our fab work. We got the lifted bed coming in. We got AC lines, pockets, you know, running through the fender well, just trying to clean everything up, do those last minute touches. But here's the thing, we don't know paint color. We don't know interior color. And I think it's time to sit down, Richard, and get this nailed down.
Oh shit, there's two of you. What do you want?
There's two of us.
Hey,
We're gonna
buddy.
sit down and we're gonna figure something out, if you don't mind.
No! No! No!
Well, we've been asking for a little bit. You got any ideas on what you want for paint?
What do y'all think?
It doesn't matter what we think. Whatever. 6 years, I know that whatever I think is wrong.
How about black or green?
No, it's not, dude. They sold out. I called the paint store earlier to ask if they
I done
had
bought
some,
it all.
and you bought it all.
I got some color schemes that I've kind of pulled off.
Okay.
Now, in a way, this has been done before, because there's a later on in the 70s and 80s, they did a truck called the Desert Fox kind of scheme where it had the brown stripes, and there were different variants of colors of yellows and browns and whatever, and then they went down the truck. And I don't think I want to do that because it's been done too many times, but I kind of got two palettes here.
These are really like a
I
bold
like
color
these.
though.
I think these have a lot more pop than this.
I too like this. Is it too many colors? Is it not enough? This gets a little dark for me.
It is.
Same, I agree with that.
And
I was picturing like Maine when
I
you
like
pulled this
that
up.
color, yeah.
And then have an accent.
If that's Maine, we can pull in here to Maine.
Correct.
Or a metallic right here.
It really depends on what, if you're doing like a two-tone, if you're doing a stripe, what kind of stripe? Side stripe, big stripe, small stripe.
You know, it's been done a billion times before. 3 or 4 colors, maybe separated with a lighter color.
Is that where you're leaning to? A big couple big stripes?
What if they stacked and scalloped? And so you had your body color up here. And your
Okay,
body
so they
color.
were staggered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you staggered them.
Okay.
You know, or there's
back and
the...
forth like a scallop though too.
Yeah, I didn't understand where you were going. I thought you were doing like those.
So instead of coming around and it's just a straight line,
Mm-hmm.
and then they turn and go like this.
Come and jot.
The front nose cone of the hood comes around and then it drops,
Mhm.
and then comes across the hood and goes along top, drops. So
Yeah.
that when you're looking at the hood, you got all the colors, but they've been.
Okay. But the main thing is, what are the body color? That's what we're trying to figure out.
Look, I've got important things to do. Now you've ruined my to-do list. I had flowers for Cat.
She does need flowers, but we need to know color so we can get paint ordered. And then we can do layout stuff all day long when we got it in the booth or whatever.
Well, and it'll also get us rolling on interior too, at least
Yeah.
color-wise. So,
I think I lean towards this
yeah.
or this with metallic as the body color.
I wouldn't even hate the solid if the stripes were in metallic.
Work.
Yeah. Like say you did the solid, body solid.
Yeah, they've
you could
done that.
still do the stripes in metallic and that would still look fucking
It
way
would make
cool
the
as
stripes
shit.
pop a lot.
Yeah.
Because you
And
would
then
almost
do we
lose the
want
body.
1, 2, 3, 4 stripes? Do we want to do 3? Just these 2 in a green? Do we want to do 5?
Kind of like the lighter green.
Yeah. Like this palette.
I like the lighter green, for sure. This is the main body. We got 4 metallics in the stripe package. If we do all that, and this is cab color, this would be internal cab if I just had to say something, yes.
Yeah, I would say exterior, interior on that.
What are we thinking on the chassis? Because this truck's gonna sit on the ground. This truck is utilitarian. I ain't gonna take it to a show and put mirrors under it. So do we just...
We can stick with your normal chassis black, or, I mean, I'm painting the chassis, you can do whatever the hell you want. Like, if you want to do this flat on the chassis, we can do that. With the chassis and suspension this color, the interior and engine bay this color, and the main body this color, and then all that with the stripes, I think it looked fucking killer.
Let me trick.
That wasn't that hard.
Let's see. Go ahead and sign this for y'all.
I'm going to add that to my collection. Got a big collection of these going.
There you go. Take that with your colors.
All right. What kind of flowers you getting her?
I hadn't decided yet.
Don't forget that.
What color?
Don't, just go. Just go. Looking at what he's got going on here, and to be honest with you, I have no fucking idea what he wants. So at least I have a color base, so I'm gonna get the colors ordered. And as far as everything else, I'm gonna do like I always do. I'm gonna wait till it's in the booth. I'll shoot the main color, and then I'll tape some stuff up, and I'll go get him. Because between now and then, it's gonna change. Always changes, and
I love it.
I don't know what's happening here. I got my first test fit done on our floor thing, and I'm surprisingly happy with the way it's coming out. I was a little bit nervous about how it was gonna set, or if I was gonna warp the shit out of it, but we didn't, so it's looking pretty good. I gotta finish cleaning up my welds and do a little bit more welding along the back edge, and then we need to mount these new hinges that we got and figure that part out. So then we'll get it opening and shutting. So we got the Smoky Roads rod shop hinges kind of in place where we want them and tacked on, just to make sure that everything's gonna function the way we want it to. And they're by far better than the first ones I did. They seem to be working great, but we need to brace them up a little bit because they're a little bit flimsy from just being tacked and where we put them. So now we're gonna box everything in and make it all look good, and then hopefully we're on the road to having this sucker be done. I look like that lady's name. What's that lady?
On The Incredibles?
Yeah. Who's the little tiny lady that does the suits, that wears the big glasses?
Edna?
No kicks! Yeah, Edna. Yeah, I look like Edna with these glasses on.
Instead of like making really cool suits, you just paint shit.
I weld shit that you make, I'm welding it on here, and then I make your shit look fucking sick as fuck.
Is that what it is?
Well, no, I'm not saying that your shit
No,
look
that's
sick
fine.
as fuck.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying it looks sicker and more fuckish.
Yeah. I'll just start regular welding it. I won't take my time. I'll really fuck your world up.
That's not what you've been doing?
Yeah, okay.
So we finally got our bed welded up. We got our hinges welded on. So now it's kind of like the moment of truth on whether or not it's going to open or open the way we want it to. So you want to cut it open and see what happens? Are you ready?
Huh? It might just fall off. Huh? Let's see. Let's find out. Hold it.
Last tack. You ready? Ready?
Yeah. Oh. What we got? Is it there?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to leave that kind of amount of pressure on it laying down like that.
No, I wouldn't leave it, but I mean, we're there. Nothing rubbed, right? In the bottom where we were in? No, again? No, we're golden, dude. Moves away. Yeah. We got good gaps up here. A little bit of movement, but the hinges are still a little loose, remember?
God dang, you scared the piss out of me.
I think it's gonna look good.
So it's got shocks like what you would see like on the back of your SUV or something when you lift your gate. Those shocks, but there's 4 of them, and as of right now we don't know the links, so we got to figure out the links so that we can weld the other boxes on, put our shocks on.
So basically I'm just tacking this back on now.
I mean, until we have shocks, because we don't know where to put those other boxes. We got a lot to do and not a lot of freaking time to do it.
2 weeks, Mike. 2 weeks.
Bullshit.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
This is our newest one right here. So this is the halo with the LED backlight I showed you guys earlier. So everybody see it's got a pretty classic look to it. It's also very new. I'm not saying y'all be the first people to have it. We debuted it last year at SEMA, so it's been out for a year, but it's still very new.
Not a lot of people got it.
Not a lot of people
got those?
Yes, those are classics. They've been out for a long time. This one's less than a year old.
I mean, there's the breaking point.
I say we
I see it glowing from here. It looks good.
You don't see that very often.
What'd you do? Hook it up to something?
It
looks good, man. Yeah, look at the
No,
blue,
I'm just magic. That's
Well,
just
I mean,
magic touch.
We talked to Marsh about doing like a white ambient all the way through the truck. He says it comes in white.
Yep, comes in.
So,
Well, there, man, I'm in. That's my vote.
I mean, I'm sold on that. What do y'all think?
100%. I like it.
And we just don't tell Richard there was no other options, and he will love it. Yeah, y'all make sure to take all of that.
Yeah, y'all saw nothing.
There we go.
That's all we brought.
Well, let's do that, and then let's check out those square vents when you get a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the decision's made. We just got to start fabricating the dash. Those are a lot smaller.
Wait, does this one light up too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, here we go. I'm glad.
So finally got finished getting the hinges installed. I had to put the shocks on in these boxes, and I wasn't really sure where to put them or where they were gonna go, but I believe I got them in the right place. If I have them in the wrong place, it's gonna shoot this thing into outer space, which we don't want.
Did you say try it?
Yeah, try it. Did it work? Did it like? Did you have pressure coming down with it, or?
Look, I had more faith in you than you did.
Man, I had never done that before.
And it's got good pressure to hold it up too.
Really?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay. Well, we still need to tighten the hinges. So anyways, what I was telling you before Josh interrupted us, we also welded all this stuff up. So we kind of boxed this in. It's not welded to the fender, but it's just to kind of help keep some of the dirt, grime, and mud out with our big ol' ass wheels that we're putting in here. So, and if you know, guys, never weld your inner sheet metal to your outer sheet metal, because all that's gonna do is cause your bodywork to crack or cause your metal to crack, and you're gonna have nothing but problems. So when you think it's a good idea, just remember, it's not. Let's keep our welding on the edges.
We're getting really close to the end of the build, and this is the point where you start forgetting things. So we're just trying to take our time and line out the last few things, you know, to where we don't forget it by the time it goes to Mike, and then have to go over there and try to fix something in the paint shop. So all sitting down, having a conversation, going over everything, and sure enough, we have skipped a few things, so we're gonna knock those out before it goes to this beautiful man here.
You want a finger bang?
Time to check in with Richard, who's over at Titans of CNC, and see how the new Grille is coming together.
I had a crazy idea that I wanted to enhance the grille and the lettering and the side trim possibly for our GMC truck. And when I say enhance, I mean, the stock piece is a stock piece, but I wanted to kind of push it in a little bit and make the eyebrows a little meaner, give it a little bit of a look. You know, I want people to walk by and go, wait a second, I don't know what's going on here, what's happening? You know, these guys came by the shop, I was out of town, they talked to the guys, found out what we wanted and how we wanted it, and then it's like, y'all do your magic. So that's what we're doing today, is we're gonna see what their magic is all about. I guess if my team transferred the information correctly, we got this grill, and I wanted to just kind of push and pull it a little bit so that it just had a little attitude, not, you know, not crazy dramatic, but just enough where people would go, the hell's going on there? That's crazy. So what do we got?
Yeah, so we got the scan you guys sent over, and you can see that it's not exactly optimal, but we were able to work with it.
Whoa.
So from that, we took it and turned it into this. So
Boom.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. So we made it in 2 halves, and we made a center section that binds it all together. So it's going to be a lot beefier than the one that you guys brought over.
The stock ones and even the repo ones, they're real thin, you know, but they do the job. They're just a beauty appointment. But what is this? You got a little grill back here?
Yeah. I filled in those holes with just solid material, and then went in and put holes in them. I thought it would give it kind of...
You probably just zoom in a little bit. Go ahead and pop this
I
up.
gotta get my glasses on. I can't tell if those are holes or octagons or...
Yeah, they're holes for now. We can put whatever we want in there, though. We can put honeycomb in there. We can put an iso grid in there. We can put holes in there.
I think we're good with that.
100% CNC machine. Solid.
Yeah, out of billet. They're not going to be small pieces of material either. They're going to be 6 inches thick, 18 inches wide, and 38 inches long. So we're looking at about 800 pounds of aluminum that we're going to start with.
Wow.
Murder some material.
And what do you think it'll end up weighing when it's done?
I would say probably around 80 pounds.
Super cool.
Heck yeah. Basically, we took the center sections in. Like this used to come out
So
to
that's
a
like
point.
concave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it used to be convex, but now it's concave. We brought out the front here a little further, made it perfectly flat. You know, the original that you guys brought us was a little bit bowed, and so that'll be a good shiny surface there. So it should make everything pop really nice.
That's wicked. Now, do you ever like try to scale down and make a small one first before you attack the big stuff, or how does that work?
What we're actually going to do is we got a partner that does large-scale 3D printing.
Okay.
We're going to see if they can't 3D print us a plastic one so we can bring it over there and fit check it before we actually go in and make the metal one.
That sounds like a good plan. What does they say? Measure twice, cut once?
Yeah.
No, that's super rad, Barry. I like that. I hope you are ready to make a bunch of these. People are liable to want them. But super cool. What about the lettering? What did we decide?
Yeah, so we had a couple of options. My initial thought would be to make it easier for you guys to not have to cut these original letters off, would be to make something that actually fit over each letter. But we thought, me and Josh talked about it a little bit, and he said that you guys would rather just have clean letters. So what we're probably going to do is have to cut these off and put the new ones on.
The blocks didn't bother me. You showed me that, a picture, right? The 3 blocks?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we do the same thing in the front, then I'm cool with that. Whatever way it goes, whatever way is easier.
Oh.
And of course, we're changing to GMG, right?
Correct. Yep. And we can also, if we wanted, we can make this a whole rectangle with the letters bossed out of it, however we want them to look. So it could be 3 blocks, it could be a whole rectangle with all 3 letters on it.
So you're saying if we did the blocks, that you would want the blocks on the hood too?
Yeah, 3 squares, or 3, whatever, blocks.
I mean, does that change it just enough like we're shooting for?
I think so. I mean, I think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
It'll look good. And then with that much imagery, I don't think we need to do the side trim.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot.
Because that's a lot. And then with the wheels, that'll be more than enough for people to stop in their tracks and be like, what?
So one thing that Barry brought up was the different areas, like the hot and then the flat spots, of taking and doing almost not quite a brush look and polish look, but similar to it. So would we do the same thing in the blocks, to where like the top was brushed, the back was finished?
Absolutely.
Run that theme through all 3?
Absolutely. Run that theme. That is exactly it.
Yeah, we can get started on the letters right away. That'll be an easy thing, so no problem there. The grill, just because we got that scan and this original is kind of warped and bent, I feel more confident getting the 3D printed part just before we start cutting metal.
We'll do that, order material, and we'll start machining.
I can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's an honor to work with you guys.
Oh, come on, man. It's an honor to work with you, man.
Now that Richard is stoked with how the new grill is coming along, it's time to head back over to the shop where Dirty Mike and the boys are getting started on the bodywork and paint for the Skidmark.
So C10s have been done over and over and over and over. They're the Mustangs of trucks. So it's like everybody's got one, everybody's had one. You know, they've just been done to the hilt. It's real important that we get our body work and our filler work all done as nicely as possible, because I guarantee you at SEMA there's going to be some really, really, really nice C10s, and it's just, they're everywhere. So the competition is extremely high, so it's really important to me and to the guys that we get it the best we can, especially in the time frame that we got, because we were cutting it tight, and most of them are year-long builds, 2-year builds, and this is, we're looking at like 3 months to do this thing. You know, bodywork's going to be really important because that's the first thing they're going to look at. We got the bed floor ready. We're gonna hit the tops of these doors. So hopefully soon we'll have the cab here, and then we can bolt the doors and start blocking everything. Get the cab body work, start blocking into that. Thing is, if this is sprayed and I have nothing to do, I'm gonna go wear those dudes out. I'll just roll in there and be like, "Why isn't this done yet? Why isn't it done? We gotta go to SEMA. Woo! Gotta hurry up. Woo!" So I'm about to bedline the floor, inside floor of our cab. There's a couple reasons why I want to do it. One is it'll help quiet down the cab and all that stuff, but we're also going to do like a sound deadener, so it's not something I have to do, but I want to know how our gold is going to look in a bed liner. So we went with the Raptor stuff, Raptor liner, and it's tintable, so I can apply this paint into my Raptor liner, and I can get an idea of what it's going to look like, because ultimately I want to do underneath the cab that way as well, but I want to make sure that it looks right, looks the way I want it to. So I'm going to test it on the inside floor of the cab, so it'll just be a lot nicer. So we got the inside of the cab bed lined and all that stuff. About to pull it out so Mikey can start wet sanding on stuff. The guys have been here all night, so they're super tired. I wasn't here all night, so I'm not super tired, but it's like everybody's kind of in zombie mode. So a lot of things are getting done, but a lot of things aren't getting finished. So we're trying to regroup right now and come together. So we're gonna get this out and then start getting some parts in so I can shoot some gold, and Mikey and then we're gonna keep wet sanding. So we got a long damn day. So we got all our gold stuff done, and we flat cleared it, so it was able to dry enough that I could get all those parts out of the booth. And I still have to do the cab, which is like the firewall and the jams and the dash, and the inside is all going to be the flat gold as well. But while the guys are sanding that, I got a little bit of time, so I'm going to shoot these bumpers real quick, because I'm dying to see what our main body color is going to be, what it's going to look like all sprayed out. But this is it. It's like, I think they're calling it gas monkey beige, but it's kind of how I like my coffee to look. You know, a little bit of coffee and a shitload of creamer. So I'm gonna call it Mike's Coffee Beige, and then Richard can call it whatever he wants, gas monkey beige. But Mike always coffee creamer beige sounds cooler to me. Is this how you want me to do this?
It's a head camera.
Oh. So we got the chassis in the paint booth. We got all the chassis components in the paint booth, minus the rear end. I'm gonna work on getting all that stuff painted today. We were gonna go gold with the flat, but started thinking about it, and I think that the cream is gonna be better, because if they get any oil on that flat clear, then it's gonna be hard to clean. Cream's gonna be hard to clean as well, but it being glossy, it'll wipe off easier, and it's just an easier thing to do. So I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna try to get that stuff epoxied and painted today so that I can get it back over to those guys. And then right after that, we're rolling in the cab, and I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff on the cab. So It's only noon and I'm already tired, but that's how it is at Gas Monkey Garage.
Are you ready for the sex, girls? The fine, fine, supersonic real sex, girl. Are you ready for the sex, girl? The fine, fine, supersonic real sex, girl. All right, let's paint.
So, I'm one of those guys that already got them the chassis while they're getting that painted. I asked Josh to come over here and help me out with his third member for the Curry rear end. When he's get fired up, he built a lot of 9-inch Fords.
Gonna throw a little twist on the rear end paint scheme. We're gonna do the chassis color on this, which is the like the light beige. But then we're gonna do the third member in gold.
I love gold.
And then the drive shaft in gold, so it'll set it off a little bit. But before we do that, like Rick said, we need to blow this third member out of it, and I have to finish welding some tabs that I might have got distracted and chased a squirrel on. Way to call me out, Ricky. Is that payback for not singing karaoke with you?
No, I'm just saying that we still got to weld the tabs.
It's so payback.
Still time.
Let's do this after Mike paints it. Here, I don't want to lose those. Here, I don't want to lose those. Here, I don't want to lose that. No. Wowzers!
That is why I got help.
It's a little heavy. Look at that pattern.
Kind of funny here, we're building a badass GMC, and the way to do that is Curry rear end, which is essentially a Ford 9-inch rear end that Ford came out with a long time ago, and Chevy still hasn't done anything better. So everybody knows you go with a Curry Ford 9-inch rear end when you're doing your Chevy build. And we also have a Ford rack and pinion. So the front of our truck and the back of our truck is Ford.
I hate you, Ricky.
Score one for the Ford guys.
What motor do y'all swap in all y'all's cars?
Well, I mean, there's people out there that choose to do the LS because it's a simple engine, simple to swap.
They'll never admit it. What are you doing, buddy?
Huh?
You filming this gorgeous chassis?
For the gram, homie.
Hey, you killed it. And
like it?
Ricky.
Hey.
This looks like glass. Between you and Ricky, this looks like glass.
Wait, did you say glass or ass? If you see anything, let me know, because when I was clearing in there, man, it was tough to see. Okay. Like my eyes were like this.
Do we need to get you better lighting in there?
No, I'm just old.
Do we need to get you bifocals?
Maybe.
Richard's got a bunch on his desk.
I bet he does. You're concentrating on an area, and you're flooding another area, and you're trying to work this area, and da-da-da-da-da, but...
Brandon, I want you to look at this real quick. You can see reflections. That's not black, that's not white where you can see these. This is a tan and you can still see reflections off it, Mike, so I think we're okay.
I mean, for something that we didn't have time to like prime and block out and bodywork and do all that jazz,
yeah,
it looks pretty good. Looks way better than if we send it off for powder coat.
Agreed. No, it's way better than powder. And I'm glad that we went with this and we went with the gloss.
So I'm gonna roll the cab in, I'm gonna work on the firewall and that stuff. And then I would say tomorrow, let's mount the suspension back on it and put the stuff back on it. And then tomorrow morning, I'm gonna do the bottom of the cab. So then we can put it on, and I'm hoping I don't have to take it back off. Because then I wanna do the insides of the doors, and I wanna hang the doors, and I'm hoping that they don't have to come back off. That's kind of the game plan here, but
whatever we can do to save time.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm trying to save time. Hey, you're gonna,
yeah.
It's still soft. Come on.
It is. I'm just rubbing it. Mike Coy painted it, it'll be all right.
Wednesday night, 12 o'clock. I guess that would be considered Thursday morning. I just poured the last bit of gold, and we are about to paint the bed. It's a time crunch situation here all the time. And now, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Don't know what I'm gonna do. Psych, motherfucker! I got gold right here. I'm always prepared. I got it. We're gonna have to throw this on the shaking paper. It's not done yet. Hey, it's done. Get out. Woo! Get out. Hey, here. Take a shit. Get out. That ain't gonna work. I need a ladder.
Got the frame ready. Now I'm reassembling the suspension, A-arms, airbags, shocks, rack and pinion. I'm gonna really start building this thing for the final assembly.
The hell is that?
Special delivery. More
Oh.
stuff to paint.
The radiator.
I know you want it.
Is it radiator or radiator?
Well,
depends on what it's on, I think.
Yeah.
Or who made or who made it. Like that one's a pretty rad one. I'd say that one's a radiator.
It's a wizard.
It's a radiator.
Wizard radiator.
Because it's wicked.
Rad, wicked.
It's rad. It's cool.
Yeah.
But now like a radiator on say.
Like your old grandma trying to stay warm.
What?
A radiator, you know, like the old heaters that radiated oil or something, you know.
Huh?
Keep you warm. You know, you never heard of that? The radiator?
Don't you have central heat and air?
Your grandma. She had a radiator.
I have.
Radiator,
I really.
not a radiator.
I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Really? You're not familiar with those, huh? In the olden days, they used to have like radiators. That's what they call them.
The only thing I remember back in the day was the one that had the little white honeycomb stuff on it, and it heated up.
Yeah, see, that's a radiator because it has oil in it.
But mine didn't have oil in it. It was gas.
Maybe it doesn't have to have a qualification of what's in it to be called a radiator, you know? Suzuki had oil-cooled bikes. What's in the radiator? It was oil. Not coolant, but it's still coolant. It's just oil. Engine oil, remember? Yeah. 92.
Now I'm even more confused than I was 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
So your grandma had a Yamaha in her house?
No, maybe. Probably.
It sounded like she had a motorcycle with a heater on it. That's what it sounded like to me.
Oh, she had a motorcycle with a heater on it.
Radiator had oil in it.
No. Motorcycles in the 90s were oil cooled.
And your grandma had a
Some of them.
motorcycle.
In the living room.
Finally getting ready to finish our paint. Like this is it. This is the final straw. Bodywork's done. Insides are all painted. And we are about to seal it and put gold on it. It's gonna be kind of confusing for a lot of people, but with sealers, if you don't get a base coat on top of them, they will, sometimes they'll react or act funny, and we don't have time for that. So I'm going to actually base the entire truck out in gold. And then after that, we're gonna go put the truck together, which is also going to be a little bit confusing for some of you guys that don't do this, but as the process goes on, you'll start to understand how we're going to lay out our stripes. So I do things a little bit backwards. Some people would paint it body color and then do stripes, but I like to do stripes and then afterwards come back with body color, especially on a light color like this cream, because if I was to get metallic on it, it would kind of ruin my paint job, and I ain't having that. So we got the cab, the doors, and the fenders are all in gold. We're going to put all that stuff on the truck, bolt everything back together, and then we can start laying out our stripe pattern. It's just not safe to take measurements to try to do it that way, so we're going to do it this way so we know that when we go back together with it, everything lines up and it's all good to go. So we got most of the body put together, and now I'm trying to figure out the stripes. I got here a little bit early and kind of got a start on it, but I think I may have gone too wide on my stripes according to this, but I'm trying to stay out of this funky spot on the wheel well. So I'm trying something a little bit different and going a little bigger on the stripe, but it's kind of screwing me when I get up to here because that's a lot of green up front, and that ain't gonna work. So it's part of it. Yeah.
What's up, bro? So our buddies at Caracal went ahead and printed us a piece to test fit, so it's okay. I think it's impregnated carbon fiber, so.
No way.
Yeah.
So we get to feed
cool,
this
man.
for a race truck later?
Sure.
Oh. Yeah, the bottom lip is out, but like
about a ½ inch.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't want to make it out of metal first. It's the beauty of 3D printing right there.
It's crazy seeing this thing finally and seeing all the, look how protruded you have that and then that going in.
Yeah.
This is like a, look at that.
Yeah.
That's rad looking, dude.
I did mess with the design a little bit, and I took these legs off of this centerpiece because it kind of looks like an eye.
Okay, yeah.
And I figured it might just...
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And I have the eagle right now right here.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
That works for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for everything that y'all done for us, I think that a little eagle would be okay.
How long was the print time?
You know, if I had to guess, I'd say it was 40 hours. I sent you the time-lapse video.
40?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, right? But you don't realize that that's really only 2 days, and you don't have to be there babysitting it. You know, you just hit print and walk away, and 2 days later you got a grill. But they actually printed this thing over in Italy and then shipped it to us here, so it's pretty cool.
Well, Barry, y'all knocked it out of the park again, dude. This is crazy looking.
Yeah, now we just got to make one out of metal.
Did you bring any other goodies with you today?
I was going to bring the letters, man, but I forgot them. We actually were in the middle of a tour, and, you know, I had to just make a quick escape.
He's just teasing us.
You feel that? That's the feeling of watching a master at work. Every stripe, every drop of paint must be flawless and perfect in order to drop jaws and bras at SEMA. What was once a rusty old truck rotting away in a field has now been transformed into the belle of the ball. But anyway, enough yapping. Time to get back to the build as we get an inside look at Mike's meticulous process for selecting the perfect paint sprayer.
Richard's gonna bitch because the truck's not done. It's you, baby. Let's go. What a lot of guys don't know is if you're really gonna get her creamy, you gotta hit it from all different angles.
So it is Sunday, October 8th. It's almost 11 o'clock in the morning. Showed up. Ricky got the whole engine plumbed, wired, everything's in. We're ready for the cab. Now Mike stayed a little bit late last night, so let's go take a peek at how far he got. Bro! Woo! That looks so good. He even got clear on it. Colors landed out pretty damn good. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. This is gonna be so rad, dude. I can't wait to put this on. All the hours of body work in and late nights and everything. Everything's starting to come together. You start seeing the vision. This is when it starts getting really exciting. Yeah, so it's time to start lining out our exhaust, and of course we are using our good buddies at MagnaFlow. We're gonna take and come off our headers into a 3-inch stainless exhaust. We're gonna keep it tight through here. Ricky had the good idea, instead of an X, we're gonna use an H. It is a truck. Let's give it this deep, you know, rumble instead of that loud crackle. We're gonna come under our tank, and instead of blowing a hole in the side of the body or, you know, cutting out bumper or anything, we wanna keep the body on this truck really pretty. People probably aren't gonna like it, but we are gonna dump it in front of the rear end outside the wheels though. So it is gonna blow outside. It's not gonna be kicking up dust under like a regular dump. We're gonna keep it clean and go out with it. Keeps our body really looking good, not trashing out the paint or anything like that. So we want this to be a really clean build. It should be pretty cool. It's gonna have a badass sound.
Crazy Mike, you worked all night on this?
Yeah.
I finally found the guy that can shine the diamond in the go test.
We have not yet lined out our air ride system. We know where it's gonna mount and everything, but we really wanna focus on that now. You know, we've got our airlift manifold. We're bringing hard stainless lines out of here. It's gonna look real sexy. Going to these Air Zenith compressors right out of our freaking flow tank. This is gonna be visual. You're gonna see it, so everything has to be on point. You know, instead of just running like nice plastic lines out, nothing wrong with it, but we wanna just go a little bit above. It is a show truck. Run some polished stainless out, tuck, hide them away, get it all mounted to where it looks good before we get the bed back on.
Give you a little update. It's Thursday night, October, I don't know, but we're still here, and we're getting close, I hope, and we're tired, but we're all still hanging in there trying to get it done. These are my brand new good pants.
Oh. That's it, I'm not going.
Kenny's been doing some awesome work on some wiring, and we're gonna test fire. We're gonna fire this thing off and let it run.
We're gonna let it run for just a little bit. We have no water. We do have oil. That's the most important part. We have oil and we have oil pressure sensor. But and it's in park. It's out of gear, or the wheels are off the ground. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for safety precautions, we got it on jack stands. The wheels are off the ground.
Ready?
Here we go.
Did you adjust the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're closed. Hold up, I gotta change my ignition. I gotta rewire.
Dirty wires, man. Don't you hate dirty wires? I do.
Try number 2.
Here we go.
Ah! No, leave me hanging! Just a little bit high. AFRs are all right. out and have it chop a little bit more. That sounds good. So it's got a little bit of a chop. It's got a race sound though too, so. Yeah, it sounds mean. Being not gonna exhaust out, that's some deep sounding stuff, bro. Yeah. Good call on the H. From the cab? No. Good call on the H pop though. It gives it that deep sound, Ricky. One step closer, guys. We're up and running. We got a little bit of assembly left, but hey, at least we can drive in. So our wheels are here. We're leaving tomorrow and our wheels just showed up. It has been stressful, but Chris over at JTX has promised us these things are badass and they just taken a while. They're one off. They are Gas Monkey wheels now, so fingers crossed. They fit perfect. They look great. Boom. Good Lord, dude. That's a lot of wheel.
That's a lot of wheel. And we are 24's front and back, right?
24's front and back. 12 in the rear and 9.5 up front. 9.
Yo, dude. I don't know if I should just, I'm afraid to take them out of the box. They look too good. Look at that, it comes with a free shower cap.
There you go, you take a shower.
What?
Go.
Why is our offset like that in the front?
To get a fatter tire in the front and to get the turn radius we wanted.
All right. Well, let's check it out, homies. So as you can tell, we just unboxed the JTXs and these are insane. Not only are they one-of-a-kind design, they're one-off, and we've got to test fit them and make sure everything's cool and good to go. Then we got to wrap some rubber around them and get on the road.
So shiny.
It's so shiny. What's
This is Sparta. I know these guys are tired because they're working their ass off. I'm just sitting around stressing. But the truck is on the ground, so to speak. Wow. On the ground on 2-4. Here we go.
I think it's safe to say Richard approves. While the Skidmark is getting the finishing touches, the most important pieces just arrived at the shop. Let's see how the new grille came out, shall we?
So, this is the dealio, huh?
This is it, man. I hope you like it.
What are you talking about? You guys are titans of CNC. Why would I not like it? I saw the ginormous block of aluminum, or billet, or whatever y'all call this stuff. How long did it take to machine this?
Took about 60 hours.
60?
Yeah, over the last 6 days. So, and that's not counting filming and everything. So, me and our team had a lot of late nights and weekends. So, I'm sure y'all are familiar with that pain. But
right now, yes, we are all in pain. I think we did 60 hours yesterday. But this is super cool. Rip it out, man.
All right, let's do it.
Holy shit. If that is not a statement piece, I do not know what it is. This will probably be the most photographed grill in the history of SEMA.
I sure hope so.
In the history of fucking GMC C10s.
What was it, about a month ago when I texted you and said, hey, I think we're gonna have to pull out of this because we didn't have the machine yet. We didn't have the 3D print yet. And that company, Caracal, that 3D printed that grill for us, without that, like, I would have never had the confidence to make it out of metal. So they really came through for us. Yeah. And you know, they were gonna print it in Austin, but they had a show and they actually sold their large scale 3D printer. And so the only other one that they had was in Italy. So they came through for us, and since we had the 3D print and it went in there so good, I felt confident that we can make it out of metal. So we did.
Dude, it's sick.
But it wasn't without some anxiety.
I've got anxiety just looking at it, thinking that these guys got to install it. I know they're capable, but this is going to be a showstopper. They're going to be just like, what the hell?
That is the story of the Texas Skidmark. While still in its infancy, the Skidmark has already become a gas monkey legend. The boys made it down to Vegas in the nick of time, and SEMA welcomed the Skidmark with open arms. But SEMA was just the beginning. We have some big plans in store for the Skidmark, so make sure to keep up with all things Gas Monkey Garage and get you some of that.